I actually became an arborist much in an evolutionary effect. I'm actually by profession a grounds maintenance person. Okay, big picture, grounds maintenance, right down to picking up litter. I often pick up litter around my church where I do a lot of grounds maintenance. The arborist came into effect along with horticulturists as a part of working first at the City of Ann Arbor, secondarily getting a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan in forestry, and then later working as the campus forester and the senior supervisor in charge of arboriculture, which is forestry, and horticulture as a grounds manager. That is a big question, but I'm going to break it down into some small sections. We'll put them all together. The environment isn't a complete system. It's a holistic system. It works together, okay? The forest is one part of that, okay? The forests in Michigan are greatly different than the forests in Arizona, okay? So what we got on is a wonderful system that bears water. We got all the fresh water, okay? So as a part of that, the entire community system with regards to the plants, the soil, which precedes the plants, the water, which works with the air, soil and roots with air and water is our ecosystem. Therefore, when we're talking about any aspects having to do with water, we must take into consideration the community around it. Therefore, the forest, large members of the community with big root systems occupying a lot of soil mass, is going to work with a lot of rainfall, which is a primary source that they get water from naturally, any other aspects of water occupation. Let's call it occupation. The superpower is actually they work well in community. They work well in community. They provide a great deal of shade when they're larger, but even small trees, we're saying, a 1.5 inch diameter tree like we planted nearby has a total height of maybe as much as 8 foot, okay? 8 foot with the shading, while that to us, well, that's not a big tree, but we're talking about in the context of its impact on square footage of the ground. When we're planting a tree, we're often going to work with a 6 foot diameter circle. Okay, so again, it's getting larger and larger. Its impact in that area is going to be significantly more than, say, a small herbaceous plant. Marigolds are some of my favorite. Great annuals, they work well, they're pretty, they're bright, but in terms of the amount of impact that small root ball is going to do compared to a 6 foot diameter new tree root ball, I plant a tree per year versus my entire crop of marigolds, I'm going to have a bigger impact on the soil. But again, that leads right back to soil and roots with air and water is where the community comes from. So a lot of forests impact a lot of smaller organisms, both in terms of worms, but also in terms of fungi and bacteria. We can think about what we're doing, okay? Again, thinking globally, acting locally, but also with regards to conservation. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Use less. I noticed in your restrooms you got them set up so that they don't just run all the time. You push a button, a certain amount of water comes out into the sink for washing my hands, but even if I forget to turn it off, it turns itself off. That's reducing. Okay, in terms of recycling, you got a great car wash that's right along 37. I saw it on the way in. What he's doing, obviously, is a car wash. He's collecting all the water from his business and then reusing it in some fashion, but certainly collecting it as compared to me in my driveway. When I wash my car, the water, the suds go right down the driveway along the concrete into my storm water drain, causing the problem to be handled with elsewhere. He's taking care of his own. Not to mention, I noticed the number of solar panels he has on his business, much like I got a few solar panels on my home. It's not taking over for my electric bill. I'm not off grid, but I'm reducing the amount of usage, and I'm also contributing to the grid. So those are some things that we as individuals can do in our daily lives. A forest that has people around it. That's a simple answer. But yeah, there's what I call traditional forestry, which may have, be in very rural areas, and they are often production forests, okay? I was trained in production forestry to traditional forestry. I never worked a day in it. I've worked in the greater Detroit metropolitan area, but I travel all over the state of Michigan with Releaf Michigan, planting in various communities in and amongst urban forests, forests with people. Forest community is not isolated from people, but people can bring the forest closer to themselves. Traditional forestry is more rural, urban forestry is up close. They need trees to live, flat out. I have a, what I'm going to call a rain garden at my house. I live on this little lot, lovely lot. I love my lot. It's less than a quarter acre. Okay, but in that lot, what I have is a large overstory tree. Overstory is in quotes right now because it's only roughly 8 foot tall. I grew it from a 2-foot seedling the year of COVID. What was that? 2020, right? That's when we shut down. Anyway, the first project that I had coming out of COVID was a nearby community where we were doing seedling giveaways. I got one of the seedlings, grew it on, okay, in my lot, and then planted it out by the extension. My point is that in terms of urban forests, have that small tree, we have the rain garden. The rain garden is working with a number of woody and herbaceous plants, all with the idea of utilizing the rainwater, making sure that I don't have problems with it in terms of collection, because I calculated the amount of rainfall coming off of my roof with the idea of being able to contain it on my property. I'm involved with Releaf Michigan because I get a chance to come out and talk to folks about trees. But not just trees, the entire working environment and what we can do. I've been with Releaf since 1988, its inception. Like I said, I have a background in horticulture, arboriculture, but basically I'm a grounds maintenance person that always likes working with people. And that's what Releaf Michigan does, is work with people throughout the state of Michigan and Indiana for a planting to do community forest work. Start right with their home. Start right at their home, okay? Work on getting the grass to grow taller. If you've got a lawn, cut it high. Don't cut it low. The higher the grass is, the more rainwater it's going to collect. Really short grass like on a golf tee, that's a utility lawn. It's not a home lawn. Home lawn can be a utility lawn also in that it's collecting more rainwater. The other thing you can do, any young person, any person, if you see litter, pick it up. No matter who put it there, pick it up. Because litter, especially plastics, are one of the things that has to do with the man-made stuff that's always going to negatively impact our environment. We need plastics, make no bones about it. I have plastics on right now. But the point is that if we pick up after ourselves collectively, that's a positive impact. And you need no additional training to pick litter.